Quite the speech, detective.
Merci, but it was not made to entertain, more to warn the guilty parties that I am hot on their heels, no matter how clever they believe themselves to be.
Well, if there is anything I can do.
I'd like to search the guest bedroom, yeah!
Is that really necessary?
Yep.
The murderer remains at large, and there is still no sign of the weapon. I would say that makes them essential.
Of course. I still just cannot imagine any of them being guilty of his murder.
It may be hard to imagine, but it is the truth.
When you returned to the study last night, did you notice anything different from our previous visit?
Nothing. But I was so preoccupied with the Major. Sorry, detective. Should I have?
Perhaps it was just my mind playing games again.
Maybe one of the guests got lost and wandered in.
If a guest had taken a wrong turn, finding themselves in the Major's bedroom first, I'm sure they would not have proceeded through the next door unless they were not lost at all. Who has access to the safe in the Major's study?
Master Hagen had a key, obviously, and Lady Vandenbosch.
Also you. Monsieur Demir was quite sure Archibald also had a copy of the key. It is not something one would easily forget. Regarding access to the safe, you have seen its contents before?
When requested, aye. If something is required from there when Master Hagen is not around.
Forgive me. If he is not around, how is it you access the safe?
It's not what you think, detective.
What I think is that you have been trusted with a copy of the key, and you have lied to me about it.
I only lied because of the trouble I can get into with Lady Vandenbosch.
At this moment, monsieur, you should be more worried about the trouble you shall find yourself in with the law.
I know how it will sound, but I lost my key. I must have set it down somewhere, and it has been tidied away. Master Hagen asked so rarely for me to go in the safe, I didn't think it would be missed.
Monsieur Stelling's story of his lost key strikes me as a rather coincidental. The Major's safe is broken into with documents ransacked and letters involving Madame Vandenbosch's secret left out. It is a crime with no apparent purpose. There is a matter regarding to the Comtesse that we must discuss.
I should have said this morning. I'm sorry.
Monsieur, I am not quite sure you understand the severity of what has happened.
I am well aware, detective. I just thought she would be able to help.
Would you allow a man with a smoking gun to remove his bullet from a victim's chest?
I suppose not.
I understand that Monsieur Stelling was only trying to help, but surely he must have seen what it could do for the integrity of my investigation.
I would like to begin my searches now. Since it is closest, I will start with the west wing.
I may not be back when you return. Here is the key to the other rooms. Please return it when you're done.
Merci. I shall guard it with my life.
First, let's us pay the Comtesse a visit. Before I can accuse anyone of any crime, I must be sure if they were working alone or with another. This is a perfect opportunity to find evidence of any collusion and look for the murder weapon. Okay. Well, no connections to be made. Well, let's go clockwise. I should make myself known before entering.
Entrez.
Oh, she's gonna be there too. 'Cause I don't know. 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 'Cause I don't know The Comtesse room, it would be rude not to address her before searching the room.
Detective, what a pleasure. I did not expect to see you in my chambers.
In a purely professional capacity, I can assure you.
There is no need to act so stiff, Detective.
Madame, after the revelation of your actions last night, I'm afraid my sense of humor is all but gone.
I will not apologize again for merely trying to help. Shall we get straight to it then? Let us not waste your time any further, Detective.
I saw you conversing with one of the young servants yesterday.
That would be Inga. She has been one of the most promising young women that has come from the shelter.
Madame Vandenbosch took in a young lady from your shelter.
There is no need to sound so surprised, Detective. She does have a heart.
I did not mean to sound so cruel. I just did not expect Madame to hire someone of that background after the incident with her previous maid, Florette.
People change, Detective. You should not judge someone on their past actions.
Believe me, Countess, I know that only too well.
I commend you on your dedication with the woman you help. It is most honorable.
Be careful, Detective. That almost sounded like a compliment.
It is your actions in this house that have been questionable, Madame. Your work outside is something that many more could take note of.
We do what we can.
Have you been able to find many of the girls from the shelter work?
We wouldn't be doing a very good job if I could only help one girl. I in fact found work for one of them as a maid in Monsieur da Silva's house recently.
She has fitted into Monsieur's home well.
What is better, Detective? That she remained in an abusive house, or she is able to rebuild her life with an honest wage in a prosperous house?
When put like that, is she happy in her position?
The happiest she has been in years. I check in with them all as often as possible. And if there was a problem, I would know.
I'm glad to hear that more girls are building a better future for themselves, and it is with help from a Comtesse that it has been able to happen.
Merci, Madame.
Okay. The wonders of modern technology, what a joy it must be to have music in one's home. Perhaps the happy couple's engagement has someone in particular romantic mood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aha.
First aid kit? A first aid kit full of medical equipment, bandages, plasters, antiseptics, and a pair of scissors.
Ah.
The town still takes... Okay, yeah. We've heard that. 5 plus...
Huh.
Yep. Nothing interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing interesting here.
Go ahead.
Perhaps I was a little rushed with my response to you examining the major's body.
A compliment and now an apology. Well, Detective, you certainly have changed your tune.
There was something I was still unsure of. You mentioned that your training was some years ago.
From my days as a nurse, oui.
If that is so, why would you have brought several pieces of equipment usually found in a physician's bag?
One must always be prepared, Detective.
Prepared? At an engagement celebration?
If I had not brought them, I would not have been able to assist you last night. Perhaps you should be thankful for my precaution and not so suspicious.
And had she not brought them at all, I would not have to ask such a question.
Merci, madame.
To ever guarded Jacqueline Conrad, it is time I should question her on the conversation with the Major before searching her room. Hold on. Okay, no connections to be made.
Detective, what can I do for you?
Mademoiselle, I am sure you understand my reasoning for such intrusion.
If it's going to clear my name, be my guest.
If you wouldn't mind answering some questions, it can hopefully be cleared faster.
I'd like to start with your relationship with the Major.
Like I said, he's not the man he wants everyone to think he is.
Oui, but how is it you came to that conclusion?
You don't really want me to recount every conversation I've had with him, do you?
There is one particular I had in mind.
Tell me about your argument.
An argument would imply it was a two-way conversation.
And that is not how it was?
Here it is. I've been helping Angeline get exposure, her marriage to Gideon is big news, and his work is really paving the way for others. I saw the chance to get their names out there, and he didn't like it.
What was there not to like?
Your guess is as good as mine, Detective. But if I had to, I'd say he was jealous it wasn't his name at the top of the article.
And his reason to storm off?
Oh, you know about that. Let's just say I didn't accept his pathetic attempt to get me to stop the story. If you're gonna try and pay someone off, at least make it worth their while.
I thought the Major would only be supportive of Mademoiselle Angeline. There must be more to why he would not want her success to be known. I'm sure you have grown weary of this subject, but Monsieur Becker's...
You've really got a fascination with that guy, huh?
I would not say fascination. An interest, perhaps.
Well, I'll save you the bother of trying to find out more about him. He's not that interesting. In fact, he's a bit of a wimp if you ask me.
That is not the impression I got of him.
That's because you've only seen the side of him he wants you to. He knows what to say in front of the right people. But behind closed doors, he's clueless.
Clueless in what way?
Let me guess. The first thing he told you was that he was a union leader. No, the voice of the people.
A man that is proud of his work is not something to be sneered at.
Don't get me wrong, he has a way with words, and he can certainly rally a crowd. But that's about it. At the end of the day, he's a representative and nothing more. He's got to play the part, not just learn the lines.
Mademoiselle does not think particularly highly of Monsieur Becker. She's a strong, independent woman, but to use a term a wimp is a necessary attack on his character.
Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave you to relax.
Sure thing, Detective. And if you change your mind on that exclusive about that shooting...
If I do change it, you shall be the first to know. Oh.
Among them, a recently article by Jackie Conrad about the riots linked to Ernesto's factory. Peaceful strikes turn to loss of lives as violence breaks out on front line. Following the tragic events in the city has darkened the spirit of the people and brought to a screeching halt the rising defiance of the working class. The area has been condoned off and police preserved at the scene has increased. Factory security forces have been asked to step down and the powers handed over to law enforcement services. Workers laid down their tools, switched off all machinery and stood together shoulder to shoulder as the fight for fair pay and conditions raged on. What started as peaceful protest by those employed at the factories has turned into a battle of class whose support for the working coming coming in from all over the city. All the reports has not been confirmed. Sources state that violence broke out following a second wave surge of supporters. Official numbers have not been published, but it has been believed that as many as 8 workers have lost their lives in the fighting. The workers' front line has been considered as a representation of the people and working class of Belgium that now refuse to work in such demanding conditions for such a demanding and insufficient wage. Chief Commissioner Leroux has confirmed that the outbreak of violence and resulting civilian deaths are being investigated, and an official statement is to be made in the coming days. Jacqueline cornered. Jacqueline. Then that seemed to be interesting. Blah blah blah. Pocket knife. I presume this belongs to Jackie. Chasing a good story may lead her into some precarious scenarios. Doesn't even make sense to click on the fireplace. It's gonna say the same thing. Yeah, roaring fire, blah blah. Jackie has set up a makeshift office in her room. She must bring her work with her everywhere. Mr. Antique spotted leaving the Velvetical Friday at 23:15. Camber House has been poaching off neighboring land, boar, deer, and duck. Maggie to follow up. Mrs. Bonte found her husband in their marital bed with a young maidservant. Testament from maid needed. Mrs. Denault overheard in the cackling crow speaking poorly of King Leopold. He said questionable ideas. He was doubtful, skeptical, shady. Notes from Francis by Monday. Okay. Well, that's it, I guess. We have the same clothes here and there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about the game, but I see some laziness in this.
Go right ahead, detective.
I was surprised to learn Monsignor da Silva and the Major worked together.
All Felix cared about was money and filling his pockets with it. That's why he got into bed with De Silva.
The Major was not in need of money, though.
Need and want are two very different things. Did he need to move here and leech off the Madame? No, but he wanted to.
Tell me your opinion of their work together.
As far as I know, De Silva hired him to work security. He was worried what could happen to his precious factories if things got ugly.
And your reporters were there to cover the story when it did turn that way.
My reporters go where there is news to be told.
And you predicted the violence that occurred?
Anyone could see that was gonna happen. If you ask me, Hugo should have acted sooner.
Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave.
Okay, can we make a connection before I move on? No, we cannot. Let's move on. Here we are in Mademoiselle Angeline and Gideon's room. I wonder what we shall find. There does not seem to be anything of interest in here. It seems they used to be closer. Perhaps their recent behavior was merely a facade. Could it be possible that Gideon collaborated with Zachariah? Or Zacharia? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Zacharia? I'm exact. Roaring fire, blah blah. Well, so far, pretty boring room. Grandfather clock. Yeah. Window again. Drinks globe. I wonder how many travel. Yeah, okay, the same. In the bedroom. Okay. I could have mistaken it from my own. Drawer? Oh, that's it. Like nothing interesting at all. I think we did not find anything. Like nothing.
Ah.
Alright. With all of the west guest room searched, I should make my way to the guest rooms on the east of the first floor. There must be evidence of collision somewhere. I'm not sure where am I. Jackie, okay. Library, we can go.
Mademoiselle, we meet again.
Bonjour, Monsieur Poirot. Pardon, Détective Poirot.
Just detective is quite all right.
Bon, can I help you with something?
It was you that alerted the house to the Major's body, was it not?
I was taking him a plate of food, but he didn't answer to my knocking.
You then entered the study.
I did. He wasn't moving. He just lay there.
I did not mean to upset you again. Seeing him there would be troubling for anyone, and I'm sure it is not a memory you wish to relive.
Tell me about your relationship with the other staff.
I suppose we're like a family. We argue, but most of the time we get along.
You must all be quite close, then.
Some more than others.
You refer to whom, mademoiselle?
Well, Maman Rihanna, she's been here the longest, and she's very close with Lizzie on account of Luke.
How's Mademoiselle Elizabeth's late fiance connects them?
Maman is Luke's sister. You didn't know that? I
No.
thought she would have said. She talks about him all the time. It must have been awful, losing him in those riots. Apparently, he was right at the front when they were charged. They didn't stand a chance. If I had been the one responsible for his death, I wouldn't want Maman looking for me.
Mademoiselle Rihanna, Maman Ray, she has expressed her desire for revenge.
Every time she talks about what happened.
So the look, for now, people like she has and Lizzie has a motive, right? How's that the knowledge of Luke's death has alerted me for so long? The death of a brother is certainly motive enough. I did not see an aggressive side to Mademoiselle Rihanna when we spoke, but I wonder if she could act on such impulses for revenge when the opportunity arose. If you do not mind me inquiring, what brought you to the woman's shelter?
I guess you wouldn't know anything about life on the streets.
It is not an experience I have had to face personally, but I understand that many are forced into it, and the lifestyle that comes with it.
The lifestyle of a thief, you mean?
Put rather bluntly, oui.
You are the first officer that has not taken one look at me and pulled out their handcuffs.
Mademoiselle, I can see you have turned your life around, and I commend you on your efforts.
Without the Countess, I would probably be rotting in a cell somewhere.
There's no obvious aliens to the Comtesse and And an understandable one at that.
Merci, mademoiselle.
Okay. Inge may seem nothing more than a young innocent maid, but there is something that she's withholding. If I am to solve the cases before me, I must learn what is it. But there's no connections to be made so far. Have we been here?
Oh,
The air does not... Okay, we haven't been in Zachariah's room.